Welcome back to our new series where we're going to be talking to seasoned agents, new agents, and coming soon agents.
Well, we've got Linnell, which is one of my agents, and then I've got here Yvonne, and she is you've already got your license to be a loan officer, right?
Yes, so I have my license. I've actually had my license for a couple of years now. It's just getting in with these banks. They want you to process and process and process until your knowledge base is, or until they randomly decide that they want to make you a lender. So I've processed now at a couple of places, all of which have promised to make me a loan officer, but now at Flat Branch, assisting care, but then getting to go out on my own and do my own lending. So I'm really, really excited to do that.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Because we need more lenders. We need more lenders like you guys that are going to work hard. We're closing on the green one on Friday. It's so exciting. And then we need to get you what's his face? Did Farai ever reach out back to you?
So he did, and I kind of went over what investor down payment would look like, and he said he'd get with his wife. And I followed up with him again today, and he said that they were probably going to wait a little bit, but that they would reach back out when they were ready. So, yeah.
Is their down payment 20%?
So for investors, for investment loans, we can do 15%.
Oh,
yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And they don't have a requirement as far as like having escrow or reserves or whatever, or are there some reserves?
It depends. So whenever reserves are required, we won't know that until we run DU, the desktop underwriter.
Mhm.
So a lot of times we have to have the application be able to run it before we know if we'll have reserves or not. I know a lot of times borrowers want to know that up front, but without running the full application, we have no way of knowing.
Yeah, that's what I kind of explained to him, that it wasn't necessarily that you guys didn't have the reserves, but you have different products that you can offer, and it's all based off of their debt to income ratios and their credit scores, and
takes everything into consideration.
Yeah, all their liabilities and other things that might affect the lenders, the lenders issues.
Right.
All right, we got Andre that just logged in. So we got as soon as he gets his sound figured out, we'll hopefully talk to him. There we go. Hey, Andre, welcome to our agents panel.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How about you?
I'm well, thank you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, what is your are you a real estate agent, or are you in training? Are you taking your exams, or what's going on?
Yeah, I'm in the process of studying for the state and national.
Oh, yay. So we got a newbie here.
Fresh out.
Yeah. So are you still, what class are you on right now? Are you on principles 1 and 2, or are you on the
I've completed the courses.
Oh, you've completed all the courses, so you're getting ready to take your exam?
Correct.
Have you done any of the pre-tests yet?
I have. And the school that I've taken it with, they have like prep classes that they offer like once a week that I've taken like 2 or 3 of them already.
How comfortable are you feeling?
I'll probably be ready to take it in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. Well, what I usually advise most of my agents is to go ahead and take those pre-tests and just take until you feel 100% comfortable with it. I actually took mine until I had 100% on each one of the pre-tests that they had available.
Okay.
And then as soon as I felt like I had 100% on all of my tests, I just went right away and got my exam done and got it out of the way, because I mean, a lot of that information, it's kind of like a pump and dump, I call it.
Right.
You just pump it all in and then you dump it all out when you take the exam.
Exactly.
Because a lot of that information isn't exactly going to be helpful to your, once you get your real estate license and you select a brokerage to work for, then at that point they'll start training you on exactly what to do as far as being a realtor, because those classes aren't necessarily going to show you all that.
Yeah, it's similar to the life insurance.
Oh, are you also a life insurance agent?
I am.
There you go. So you got a pretty good sphere of influence right there. What insurance agency are you with?
I'm independent.
Oh, okay. So you can underwrite any, like National Lloyd's or something like that.
Yeah, there's 36 different insurance companies that I write with in over 5 different states.
So where is it that you're located?
Dallas.
You're in Dallas?
Mm-hmm.
How's that business going? I'm sure it's pretty crazy right now with all the insurance issues.
Yeah, no, it's
all
good.
the storms and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's good. I had actually got into that after, so I just relocated to Dallas from Florida. And before I actually relocated last June is when I took all my courses, completed the courses, came out to Dallas to study, to take the test, then kind of was introduced to the insurance thing. It was a little bit quick, so I went ahead and did that, got the insurance license out of the way, and I've only been doing it for a few months, but it's interesting.
What prompted you to get your real estate? Did you have your real estate license when you were in Florida, or?
No, I didn't. I was a paramedic, retired as a paramedic to move out here, and my family has always been in real estate, so it just seemed like a natural fit.
Yeah, so you've already got a little bit of experience with the whole process.
Yeah, I understood the lingo, I understood the verbiage. My mom was a loan officer for 25 plus years. My dad was a realtor. So.
Yeah. Hey, Yvonne, do you guys do loans down there in the Dallas area, or do you?
I can do anywhere in Texas. So
Andre, she's a loan officer.
Yes, Andre, let me know once you get licensed if I can give you some flyers to hand out, give you business cards. I'd offer to bring cookies and milk to open houses, but it is quite a ways away. But I can definitely send you PDF format flyers to be able to send out to borrowers. A lot of times they just want something in their hands that they can look at about even just general information about the loan process.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, you're gonna need to get all those kinds of contacts in your pocket. You're gonna need a loan officer. You're gonna need, roofers and contractors, and well, you're already an insurance agent, so you got that one ticked off, but you're going to need all the rest of that, because that's one of those things that you need your resources to be able to give those to your clients, because they're going to ask you for all that information.
Right. Okay.
And I've sent my email in the chat if you want to jot it down, and just anytime you need marketing flyers or anything like that, I'll be able, definitely once you're licensed, to do co-branded flyers. So it'll have your face, my face, and just quick little things to hand to borrowers when they have lots of questions.
They'll have a lot of good information too for borrowers on how to get pre-qualified and what kind of issues there might be with the pre-qualification process. So they'll have a lot of info on that.
Okay, that sounds good. I see your email address here, so I have that. Thank you.
And their insurance rates, not insurance rates, their interest rates are pretty good. They're pretty competitive with the bigger banks and stuff like that. I don't know. You're going to decide what you want to do in the long run and how comfortable you feel with everything. But from my experience, the easiest lenders to work with are the smaller branch type things. If you're working with Wells Fargo or Bank of America or Chase or even USAA, they can be very complicated to work with, because
those are the ones a lot of times where they'll drop the deal last minute and kind of not let you know till the end of the process that, oops, we found something where we're not going to be able to do it. And that's not good for anybody.
Yeah, it puts egg on your face more than anybody else. It's not, especially if you were the one that referred them to that bank or whatever. But I've always found that even a local credit union there in the Dallas area might be a better choice for your clients, because you're going to get a one-on-one loan officer. And Yvonne is the same way. They don't, with what happens with Chase and with Bank of America, and you'll see this in the process, is that original loan officer that takes the application isn't the one that actually processes it. So it goes to like multiple people over the process, over the period of that loan. You'll have a processor, you'll have a loan processor, then you're going to have an underwriter, and then you're going to have an underwriter processor. I mean, there's all these people that touch your file. And so that file can fall through the cracks. And then you're looking at 2 weeks before closing, and they haven't ordered the appraisal, and they haven't done this, and they haven't done that. And then all of a sudden you're in a big, huge time crunch at the end of the process, towards the last week or so of the process. So that's one of the things that I've told my agents, and I've experienced, on my own, that working with a small bank or a small credit union or somebody like Yvonne makes the process so easy. I mean, they had a file that we're going to be closing on Friday. I sent them the client a week after. Wasn't it like a week after we even got into contract? So we've only had 2 weeks to get this fixed, and we got the clear to close last week. Okay. And we're not closing until Friday. So, I mean, we had a whole week that we could have closed on before that.
Right.
And so, I mean, because in the contract, it says close on or before. So you can close before the closing date that's on the contract, but lenders tend to like to stick to that date for some reason. Whether it's because of disclosures or, you're gonna figure it all out. But okay, so tell us, did you have any questions, something that you're struggling with or that you want help with? You got a bunch of experienced people here in this chat room right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, not really. It's and honestly, like when this link came through, I thought it was like my wife. I didn't even really realize it till yesterday or like this morning when I really read it, that it was even this. So you'll have to forgive me a little bit. So I really wasn't prepared, but
You're fine.
I figured, yeah, let me just hop on. Like my plan is still to pursue the real estate thing, because it takes time in the insurance business, just like it does in the real estate business. Like a pipeline and really see the benefit or the fruit of your efforts. So and like the more people I meet and the wider my network is, it'll be the better for both industries, right?
Well, that's really the way that you're going to be successful, is to maintain, just to keep talking to people. And I don't see that you're going to have that problem at all. I mean, you're very open and talkative. And so that's one of the things that me as a broker, I try to talk to my agents about, is talk to everybody, wear a name tag if you must, and people will start to approach you even sometimes. So, it's really going to be about just you opening your mouth, because if you're quiet, they're not going to even know.
Right. So where's your brokerage?
Well, I have a couple of offices. I have one in Wichita Falls, and then I have one in Pilot Point, which is right up by Denton.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm in Savannah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I actually have some clients that just bought a house over there in Savannah.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I could have a brokerage, and I've got agents down in the Houston area, and I've got agents in Dallas. And then Diana right there, she's also one of my agents down there in the Arlington area. Denton.
Aubrey, out of Pilot Point.
So she's near you. She's near Savannah.
Yeah. Okay. That's where we are. Yeah. So like I said,
I love that area.
I do too. Like I said, we just moved here from Florida. We really didn't know anything. We moved here. We were looking in April at the height of the craziness in the market. And
I know.
Everything was like $15,000-$20,000 over ask, and I just refused to overpay for a home. So when we found this home here, it was the only one that was like reasonably listed, and they accepted a reasonable offer. So that's kind of like how we ended up here. But and we're still trying to figure our way around and like kind of learn everything. And then when the insurance thing kind of fell in my lap, I don't want to say I put it on the back burner, but I definitely kind of like refocused my efforts into the insurance thing. But it's still in the back of my mind. So when I saw this today, I was like, you know what, let me just log on and see what exactly this is. So.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'm definitely interested in helping you out as much as I can. If you need have some questions about your classes or whatever, whatever it is that you're struggling with, if you are struggling with anything. But it sounds like you're ready to pretty much take your test if you.
Yeah, there wasn't really any areas that I would say I was struggling with. Because like when I compared the two industries, I knew absolutely zero about life insurance, like 0, didn't speak the language, knew nothing. And with the real estate industry, at least I understood the language, so there's some comfortability there. But it's a much more, I can say, it's a much more in-depth test. And it's going to require a lot more studying than I put in for the life insurance. So it's just the time. I just got to like dedicate the 2 weeks or whatever it is to do and just focus on nothing but that. And then I'll be comfortable to take the test.
One tip that I can tell you is just carefully read the question and then go with your gut.
Right.
Because more than likely, if you've done the classes, that material is already in here. So read the question carefully. And I'm a little bit different because I can regurgitate data without really even remembering it. My long-term memory is like fantastic. My short-term memory is just garbage. But I have a problem reading the question and understanding the question until I read it out loud to myself. So that is a tip that sometimes can help people is, read the question, but don't just do it with your eyes, because sometimes that can trick you into seeing something wrong. But if you read it to yourself, and when you're taking the test, they're probably not going to like it that you're talking. Right. But if you do it underneath your breath or whatever, just read the question out loud to yourself, because then your hearing and your sight will kind of help you not get tricked by the question, because they are going to be tricky.
Right. Okay.
If I may add, there are several different tests, if you will, study tests that you can purchase. I know that you have to purchase them, but I highly recommend that you
he's got that.
Yeah. Does he? Okay. I'm sorry, I missed that.
He's got the pre-test classes, or the what did you call it?
So it was a prep course, the prep classes that
those are wonderful.
School that I went through, they offered like these prep classes, which were so I did the entire course online, and they offer like these prep courses like once a week also online. And their thing is, once you've taken 2 prep classes and you're scoring in the 80s on your practice exams, you'll be ready to take the test. I'm just,
So I'll give you an example of mine. I took about 10 tests a day for about 2 weeks.
Okay.
10. And I still failed one of them the first go round. And I had to go back and retake that one, but it was just barely. But I mean, literally for 2 weeks, I studied. I mean, I cannot emphasize the way I took an in-person course, and it was different. It's I can't explain it. Once you take the test, you'll realize what we're saying. The way that they word the question is not the way you were taught to study.
Right. And it does. And I kind of do understand that, which is why I ended up kind of doing the insurance thing first. I literally studied for 4 days, took this test, and scored a 90. So it's just I know this state and the national exam here for
tricky.
In Texas is complicated. It's written to kind of mess with you, to get you to think. So I knew it was just a longer time investment for me to be comfortable and prepared, which is why I did the life insurance thing first, because it was easy. Like from start to finish, I was licensed in a week. And
one thing that you might obviously we're going to be doing this at least twice a week with so if you wanted to jump on and talk to anybody here, and we might do role playing, we might kind of help you out and help other people out as well in their process in this journey. So you can jump on here too, but you can also check out the Strategic Moves with Lou podcast, which we're going to be which are also on every week. We have different topics and different conversations and stuff like that with other agents and other specialists and experts in the field of real estate. But gosh, now I forgot where I was even going with this. What was the last thing that you said?
Just the way they write the exam, the difficulty compared to the two industries, with the state and national exams being written just a little more, just the requirement of time to be comfortable and I think prepared. Because I've heard so many stories similar to, what is it, Deanna's, where people study, like commit to studying for 2 weeks and then like they still come out and they don't pass the exam. So I'm not one that really likes to do things twice or more than necessary. So I'd rather put in all the effort up front, even if it's overkill, and pass it in my first go around. And I think that's like where my hesitation is coming from. I've just heard horrors. Like I've never heard like one good story. I've never heard anybody like go and take this test. Like, oh yeah, it was a breeze. I did it, no problem. Like nobody. So
Right.
Oh, well, that's where I was going. Is I was going to say that Texas is the most complicated state. On my podcast, I actually talked to, we have a series that we're doing right now where we talk to different people about different states and what it takes to get your license, like say for instance in Georgia. So it's called Cooking Real Estate and Crime, and basically I cook a meal and talk to somebody, or even talk to myself sometimes, and discuss what it takes to get their real estate license in that state. And almost every single state that I've talked about so far has been easier to get your license than Texas. Like Alaska was 45 credits, 45 hours. Texas is 180. Florida was only 75 or 60. And then Georgia was 75. California was only 60. And you can actually have a felony and get your license in the state of California.
Wow.
So out of all of the states that we've talked about so far, Texas still is the hardest one.
yeah, I wish I had done it in Florida.
Yeah, you should. Well, see, Texas doesn't reciprocate with Florida. So if you got, or maybe they do, I don't know. Georgia, they don't. We just learned that last time on the last podcast that we did. Georgia doesn't reciprocate with Texas. And I know of one of the people that I've been talking to in Dallas. She's actually in Corinth, and she's getting her real estate license in Corinth, but she is a broker in Georgia and had to do everything all over again coming here to Texas.
Wow.
Had to take the classes all over again, has to take the state exam all over again. She doesn't have to take the federal one, but she does have to take the state one.
Wow.
So there are some states that do not reciprocate. North Carolina, Oklahoma does to an extent. Like if me as a broker, I can get my broker's license in Oklahoma, but I still have to take a couple of the broker's classes. Just like 2. I only had to take 2.
Okay.
But there's some states, like I think Louisiana does reciprocate with Texas. California does not. I don't know. There's a whole list, but so far that's what I'm seeing. One thing that I'm seeing too is that the states that have the least amount of people that are actually real estate agents are the ones that have the easiest regulations.
Right.
And that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But then so once you get your real estate license, are you do you have an insurance office, or are you just doing it out of your home?
Well, the agency of which I'm under their umbrella. They have local offices, but primarily everything is just done from home
Just-
over these days. Yeah,
And you just do life insurance, or you do all kinds of insurance?
just life insurance and annuities.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, is it Nanda? I can't tell if that's her last name or her first name. Can you hear us, Nanda?
Hey, that's my first name. Yep.
Oh, okay. Sorry, sir.
No worries, no worries. I mean, my struggle hasn't started yet because haven't started my classes yet. Just got done with about 20% of my classes. So trying to get to know a little more on that.
Well, you're more than welcome to join us every week and ask any questions of myself or any other agents that join us that will have experience in whatever it is that you're doing. Did you have any questions? Anything that you're confused about
Not
now?
at this point of time, but maybe once I get to some part of my training. Right now, I'm still doing I think part one of the principles and laws. Or
Principles of real
law
estate
principles.
and law?
Yeah. So I kind of completed the first part of it, getting into the second stage now.
Where are you from? What area of Texas are you in?
I live in Prosper, close
Prosper.
to Aubrey and Savannah. Yep.
There you go. So now you've got a partner in crime over there with Andre.
Yeah, pretty much.
You guys are close to each other, and I think Diana's also close to you guys too.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm right up the road.
If you guys want to, we're almost running out of time, but if you guys want to share your phone numbers in the chat so that you guys can kind of communicate with each other or, create that relationship, you're more than welcome to do that. And yeah, we've got still about 8 minutes left because Zoom is going to stop letting me record here in a minute. But did you guys have any other questions or want to tell a story? Diana, do you have any fun stories to tell?
Oh my gosh, I have a lot of fun stories to tell. Well, let's see here. I'm sorry. I want to apologize for hopping on here late. I have horses and I was having to get horse feed. I'm trying to think. Right now I'm working a BA closing. We close in a couple weeks here and just struggling, and about another week and a half, I guess it is.
Is this the one in El Paso?
Yes, in El Paso. And some of you don't know, I mean, I'm here in North Texas, but I also, I recently expanded my business to include El Paso because that's where I'm from originally. And my mother's still there, so I'm traveling back and forth, so it makes it handy. And I'm struggling because of when I hopped on, I heard you saying something about appraisals, and yeah, so I'm dealing with VA's timeline on appraisals.
Yes,
I know
most of the lenders are having trouble getting the appraisals done in a timely fashion, so we're trying to extend the closing time. Normally, just a very broad closing time is 30 days. Usually, banks can do a 30-day close, but right now with the shortages in the appraisal arena and surveys, I mean, a lot of those industries are having trouble keeping people or with manning or whatever. And so it's extending our close time to about maybe 45 days. A lot of lenders are asking that real estate agents do a 45-day close contract in order to accommodate all of the issues that we're having right now. But that may not
what
last
are
forever.
the issues? Because I know, like in El Paso, they don't have a huge inventory right now, and because of the time of the year. So I'm like,
How many closings really are affecting them?
Right, exactly. What seems to be the problem? I mean, and I'm actually worried about what happens in the spring when is
things
when
really
it
start to pick up.
typically is that, yes, exactly.
Well, all I can say on that aspect, and I do need to have another podcast with an appraiser here soon, which you guys can check out on Strategic Moves with Lou. We do have appraisers and inspectors and other professionals on there that can help us, guide us and keep us informed on what's going on in the market. So I don't know 100% why that issue is, because I haven't talked to one lately, but about 2 months ago, it was about 2 months ago, around November timeframe, when we did the last one with an appraiser. It's not necessarily because we're having a lot of contracts selling. It's not necessarily because there's a lot of selling going on. It's mainly because there's a lot of other things that are also going on, as far as like people doing modifications and forbearance type things. They're doing foreclosures, and every time they do a lender does a transaction like that, they order an appraisal. So that's a lot of what's stopping or, jamming up the process, is that there's other types of appraisals being ordered other than just the standard sales. And so that's what's clogging up the pipeline.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
I could be wrong. It could be something completely different. I don't know about El Paso, but here in Wichita Falls, we only have like maybe 5 different companies that do appraisals in town. And each one of those companies only has like maybe 2 or 3 appraisers. So there's also a shortage of people that actually are appraisers. So that's not necessarily going to be the same in every local market, but at least here in Wichita Falls, that's what always has been kind of the problem. And a lot of times it's because appraisers are like real estate agents. You have to get your license, but then on top of that, in order to become an appraiser, you have to apprentice under an appraiser for a certain amount of years before you can go out and do it on your own. But you can go out and do it on your own. So a lot of appraisers don't like doing that training, because they put so much effort into training their appraisers, and they show them all the tricks and tips of the trade and get them set up and all the different customers and clients and stuff like that in their networks. And then all of a sudden they quit, and they're afraid that they're going to take their contacts and their networks.
Their knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
Because it's very exclusive, I guess. I want to, maybe that's the wrong word, but to me, it feels like a lot of these appraisers are very exclusive about their clients. Because it's kind of like they have to sign up for certain networks. Like in order to get on the pool of this bank over here, First National Bank, they have to sign up for that. And sometimes banks like VA or Fannie Mae or FHA or VA or something like that, they don't always have openings. They only want like 5 appraisers or 2 or 3 appraisers on in their list. And so you have to wait until one dies off before they start shopping around for another one. You know what I mean? Like,
and
so
there's the problem. Yeah. And then you get that. The catch-22.
Yeah. So anyway, you guys have been awesome, and I appreciate you joining me and listening to me ramble and rant on.
Thank you, Liz.
And Andre, hopefully.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, hopefully we're
Thank you.
able to give you some knowledge, and just, check in every once in a while. We're doing this every week, twice a week. So, if you want to join in and start asking questions or telling us stories, then feel free to join us.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
All right, Andre, nice to meet you.
Likewise. Thank you. Have a good night.
See you later. See you later, Nanda.
Yep. Thank you. See you.
See you later.
Bye.
Ladies.